Welcome to S-Class, the highest tier in podcasting. With me, the secret love child of Hayao Miyazaki that he actually likes, it's Robert.
And then on the other hand, we have basically Goro Miyazaki. It's Justin.
Oh, ouch, that hurts. Rob, today is our final podcast of the year, the anime and manga of the year 2023. We are 71 series deep, and before we go through those 71 series, Rob, with that intro, have you seen The Boy and the Heron yet? Because that is not on our list.
I have not been able to see it yet. No.
Okay.
I did not forget to add it. I have not seen it yet.
Rob has historically left something off the list, at least one thing off the list every year. So when I was writing this opening, I was like, did he forget one of the biggest movies of the year? So I just need to check in on that.
It's not as bad as when I forgot Bakuman, which was one of my favorite series that I read in 2021. I completely forgot to add to the list.
A full travesty. If you guys have been here before, this is our third year doing this, and it works very similar to our Game of the Year, which happened 2 weeks ago. And we'll be going through each of these series one by one until only one remains and lays victorious as the strongest under the heavens of 2023. I say these caveats every year, but a few things to remember. Rob and I have very different tastes in anime and manga, so there will be compromising, vetoing, and deal making, which is all going to be encouraged. These are series that we have consumed this year, but are not necessarily from this year. And many of these ongoing series are being counted for just as what we've watched or read this year, not ranking the entire series as a whole.
Right. For example, One Piece is in its Egghead Island arc. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about anything else about One Piece other than that in the manga.
Exactly. Rob, is there anything else that you want to add in that I might have missed?
No, I mean, hopefully I actually wrote down everything we watched and read this year. We'll see, though. Something might pop into my
Guaranteed
head around the 20s or 30s. We'll see.
I think it happened at rank number 6 last year where you said, oh my God, I forgot JoJo.
It was JoJo Part 6. Yes, I forgot.
Yep. And we had to adjust the whole thing. But it's fine. All right. Then we shall dive into our list of 71, the very arduous task. I will go first. 100 Girlfriends, Akane Banashi, Atelier Ryza, Beat in Motion, Blue Box, Blue Giant, Blue Period, Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, Bride Story, Buddy Daddies, Chainsaw Man, Chibi Maruko-chan, Dandadan, Descending Stories, Showa, Genroku, Rakugo, Shinju. That's a terrible name. Digimon Adventure 2, The Beginning, Do Retry, Dr. Stone, Dragon Ball Super, Superhero, Frieren Beyond Journey's End, Gash Bell 2, Gokurakugai, Green Green Greens, Hell's Paradise, Jigokuraku, Jiangshi X, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, K-On! The Manga, Kagurabachi, Kaiju No. 8, Kill Blue, Mama Yuyu, Martial Master Asumi, Mashle, Me and Roboco, My Hero Academia, and Rob, I'll pass it off to you here.
All right. Nagatoro Season 2, Naruto, Kanoa's Story, The Steam Ninja Scrolls, the manga, wow. Naruto, The Whirl Within the Spiral, One Piece, One Punch Man, Oshinoko, Overtake, Pokemon Horizons, Porco Rosso, Rurouni Kenshin, Meiji Kengaku Romatan, Sakamoto Days, Sasuke's Story, the Uchiha and the Heavenly Stardust, Sayonara Eri, Shangri-La Frontier, Shoha Shoten, Shoujo No, Shumatsu no Valkyrie, Shuna's Journey, Skip and Loafer, Sneeze, Solanin, Spider-Man, Spy X Family, Suzume no Tojimari, Tenmaku Cinema, Terraformers, The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, The Apothecary Diaries, The Dangers in My Heart, The First Slam Dunk, Tomo-chan is a Girl, Trigun Stampede, Two on Ice, Wild Strawberry, Yomi no Sugai, Zombie 100. Wow.
Robert, did you forget anything off the top of your head here?
I feel like I might have, but I don't remember.
It's too late.
I think
this is where we are. And just a couple of stats. Last year we had 67, so we have surpassed it by 4 this year. Rob, I read 27 series, you read 21, and then combined we also read 23. So this is a hefty list. I think we have a good 2 to 3 hour journey ahead of us.
Some good balance here.
Robert, with all of that being said, I shall now pass over the blade of the strongest under the heavens into your hands. Who shall be the first cut?
Do Retry was one of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever read. Shonen Jump, I don't think this thing made it 17 chapters. It was some like post World War II fighting manga, but like there were just these weird ass superpowers. One guy had like a massive arm. It was absolute dog duty.
Do retry at number 71.
Easy worst thing of the year. Do retry. Done.
Honestly, just scrolling through this Google Doc is going to take up 30 minutes of this entire podcast because it's so freaking long. At number 70, I will get rid of another Shonen Jump disaster, Mama Yuyu.
Yup, I was going there anyway.
Terrible. Just mediocre. I don't remember anything about it. It's got to go.
I don't remember what that one was. I think it's something with demons and hero. I don't know. It was worthless.
That's
not worth
the
our
entire
time.
premise.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
Ooh, man.
Number 69, Rob, the spicy pick.
Is there any other show? Oh, Two on Ice really just did not do it for me, Justin. It was the figure skating manga. There's no chance this last chapters in Shonen Jump. This one.
No. Two on Ice cannot go now. Two on Ice does not go now.
The art is just so scratchy and brutal, and I just cannot really get into it. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm done.
It can't go here.
I couldn't make it 2 chapters.
I'm up to date on Two on Ice. I am at chapter 12.
You're up to date. I dropped it after 3 chapters.
Okay, Two on Ice is one of those series that like I don't ever actually want to read, but when I finish the chapter, I'm like, oh, that was sweet. That's how I feel about Two on Ice. I actually quite like Two on Ice, even if
you want to keep pushing it, be my guest. But oh wait, Naruto: The World Within the Spiral. I got 4 pages into that and could not continue it any further. That was the most boring content. Yeah, that was awful. I don't understand how what's his name even got his own chapter.
Minato, the 4th Hokage.
I don't know why people love him. I don't find him interesting at all.
Can I give you a buy one get one free special? Can we get rid of Boruto first and then the horror within the spiral?
Be my absolute guest. The more Naruto we can get rid of, the better. Before we get to your stupid dinosaurs, which I know are going to be in the top 20.
Oh, who knows?
I do.
So that puts Boruto 2 Blue Vortex at 69. Maybe the ugliest manga I've ever seen. And you know what? Making manga is really hard. I don't want to criticize them, but I'm going to. It's just the design's horrible. The coloring's awful. It's gross. It makes me want to vomit when I read it. I read 2 chapters. I'm good.
That's more than enough. You see, I'm already at the point where I'm like, everything I've read and watched, I think I, at the very least, enjoyed. So, like, now we're very early onto this, and it's already kind of tough.
Oh, I got plenty for you. If you want me to just keep throwing them at you.
If you want to rattle off your trash, be my guest. I mean, I know both of us read Kaiju number 8. I don't really love Kaiju number 8 anymore. It's like had one of the best first volumes of anything, and now it's just like frustratingly bland and boring.
The thing is, the next few that I'm about to rattle off makes Kaiju number 8 seem like a god tier manga compared to what I'm about to rattle off.
Be my guest then. Get rid of the junk.
Why is it that every year I'm the one that like collects junk, even though you're the one that like actively looks for trash?
You're the trash reader collector.
Not even on purpose, though. You're the one who's like, let me find the stinkiest trash and I'm going to love it. And I'm the one, I'm going to find great stuff. And I find the trash and let me get rid of some of it. Another one that we both read, Jiangshi X, I think can go.
I read that? What was that?
That's the Chinese one, the one with the Chinese vampires.
Oh, right. I got maybe a chapter into that, didn't I?
So bored, literally doesn't remember it. Does not remember the experience.
Wow. Zero recollection.
Let's see what else is there. Digimon Adventure 2 The Beginning. The second movie that I ever watched while living in Japan. Rob, did I tell you this full story yet?
You just told me how angry you were at how bad it was.
Okay, so the first 2 seasons of Digimon were just this really precious part of my childhood. Love them to death, love the characters. And when I heard, I don't even know if it was like a YouTube ad or something, but I saw that they were making a Digimon 2 movie. I was like, oh my God, I get to like reunite with my childhood friends again. And my girlfriend was visiting Japan and she just left. I was like, oh, maybe it'll still be in theaters. It was. But I was in Hiroshima, which is a smaller city at the time. And I had to travel from my Airbnb an hour and a half to go to this one specific movie theater that was playing it. I showed up 2 hours or 3 hours early by accident because I thought it was at 7. It was at 9 because I can't read army time. But I'm like, it's fine. I will wait around this mall for the next 3 hours because this movie is going to be great. Absolutely terrible. One of the worst movie viewing experiences of my life. And I've seen the Mario movie, which was awful.
Okay, relax.
It destroyed these characters that have been built up over decades ago. We're here to see these guys, and it doesn't expand on them anymore. It creates this new character that's useless, and I hate him. And he's this goth emo character who has an eye patch, and is just so edgelordy. And then they spent all their budget on the digivolving scenes, which we've seen a million times before. And they're just totally pandering. What a waste of a film! What a waste of my time! It's got to go here.
It's especially sad that like you wasted precious time during your trip to Japan on watching absolute trash like this.
I'm so upset, Robert.
And it sounds like it ate up like basically the whole day.
It ate up at least 6 hours of my life. I caught the last train home at like 11 o'clock back to my Hiroshima apartment.
Well, it's brutal. They deserved so much better than Digimon.
No, they totally did. So that's Jiangshi X at 67, Digimon Adventure 2 at 66.
Man, I feel like I have hot takes, but like it's way too early for my hot takes. Wait, so you're really refusing to let go of 2 on Ice still?
2 on Ice has at least like 10 more spots for me.
Then you got to keep getting rid of your junk because I genuinely enjoyed most of what I have left.
Can we talk about My Hero Academia?
No! My Hero Academia is something that I hate read because it's so stupid and so bad that it's good. And I genuinely enjoy it. And I get enough enjoyment out of it every week that it's going to at least crack the top 50.
Okay, that's fair enough. I just wanted to sense check it because I've gotten some hot and cold vibes from you this year where you said it's so bad it's good, and then you said it's so bad it's bad that I don't know where it stands for you overall anymore.
Right now it's back to so bad it's bad, but it was so bad it's good for a while.
Okay. Man, you really got no trash, huh?
No, I mean, there's certain things like me and Roboco is not trash, but like it's a nothing series I can get rid of. Whatever Pokemon Horizons was fine for the few episodes I watched. You know, it's not like it was trash, but they're nothing special, and I have no problem getting rid of them.
Okay, then I will go on another murder spree. Let me get rid of 3 more, and then I think we can get into talking territory, Rob.
Perfect.
Okay. Shumatsu no Valkyrie. I don't know why I still read this one. This is the one with the gods versus the heroes of Earth. Satan has just fought Nikola Tesla, and that battle is over. And now,
who won?
I can't spoil. That's everyone's on the tips of their toes waiting for that to happen. Right now, it's Apollo fighting against the King of the Spartans, and this is not fun to read. I literally speed read it because I like the art sometimes. And here we go. And then right above this thing about masculine gods and men beating the shit out of each other, I'll put Chibi Maruko-chan, which I attempted to use to help me learn Japanese, but my Japanese is still too weak to follow this little girl who likes to argue with her sister in kindergarten.
I mean, this is literally a children's program. I feel like it's almost unfair to even rank it.
I mean, it is the Dora the Explorer of Japan, but it's still better than about 10 of these series, so I think that's worth something.
You know what? I think that's fair. I'm just saying, I think if we watched Breaking Bad and Dora the Explorer this year, it would be fair to really have them on the same list, but go off.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fair to Breaking Bad, but...
I mean, I guess, I don't know why Tenmaku Cinema is still here. We can get rid of Tenmaku Cinema. It's something that I love in theory, but hate it in practice. I love it because it's the author and artist from Shokugeki no Soma, but like it really made me realize I don't care at all about filmmaking or cinema. I just don't.
Yeah, that was on my list as well. I wish I liked this one, and I really tried to coax myself into reading more and more of it, but I was just so bored by this.
That's what it was. It was just boring. And I don't love making them middle schoolers. It doesn't change anything of the plot, like especially when you're going to like you're the guys that made Food Wars. Your characters are so sexualized, hyper-eki sexualized, and then you're making this a middle school story. This could have been high school. This could have been college. There was no reason it couldn't be. And I feel like that just put them like even further in a box. And for no reason, because it wasn't good because of it.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I got one more like definitive trash I can get rid of, and I think that's gonna be Shoujo Null. This is the iRobot of bi-weekly Shonen Jump.
Doesn't do it for you. I feel like you told me about this one, and even when you were talking about it, I was like, this does not interest me. Not only because it sounded super serious, but just because, like, I don't know, the overall premise just wasn't for me.
Yeah, it tries to balance this like cute little robot girl who's trying to get revenge on humans for killing all of the robot people. And and it tries to make her super adorable, but also has her like murdering, and it's trying too hard to be edgy, and also the art's just not strong enough to push it further, and the writing is not great. I don't know why I read it every 2 weeks, but it's still here.
All right, if you're getting rid of that, I'll bang out Me and Roboco. It's just a fun gag anime. A lot of like Shonen Jump parodies and references. It's fun and it's funny, but like it's not good and it's nothing special. Me and Roboco, so that goes at what, 61? And then
Yeah, just rattling off the last couple numbers.
yeah.
Digimon at 66, Chumatsu no Valkyrie 55, Chibi Maruko 64, Temaku 63, and Shoujo Null 62.
Okay. And then Me and Roboco 61. And Pokemon Horizons is fine, but it's like your Morocco chat. It's a kids show, and at this point, I can't get anything out of Pokemon. Ash is long gone. My like fun nostalgia for Pokemon is long gone. I just don't love Pokemon anymore. And this actually seems like it's a quality Pokemon anime, but it just doesn't do anything for me at this point in my life, which is unfortunate. Especially now that I have a kid, I feel like Pokemon's a great intro anime, but you know what? There's already 25 years worth of Ash to watch anyway, so forget about it.
When your daughter starts watching Pokemon, will she watch Pokemon Horizons or the original 1996 Pokemon anime?
Yeah, the 4Kids dub, 100%.
Of the original Pokemon?
Yeah, that goes without saying.
Okay, fair enough. I just want to gauge the level of these two. You were not into Zombie 100, right?
I watched the first episode of the anime, and I was impressed with, like, all of the pop and pizzazz, but, like, the premise just didn't grip me. And I didn't watch further than the first episode.
I read it last year, and I really loved it. I think it made it to, like, top 15, top 20. And then I bought 2 or 3 new volumes that came out, and I was really disappointed. This fun adventure that started us off of him crossing everything off his bucket list has just become sort of boring. It's one of the themes that he himself goes through, but I don't remember anything that happened in it, if that's a recollection. But the feeling does not sit strongly with me. It does not feel like, oh yeah, that was a fun time reading it. It was like, oh, that was kind of a slog when I read it. And I had the physical volumes, and that's kind of a shame that it's fallen so far. But I think it can go out around here, frankly.
Okay. I mean, more than Kaiju number 8, you felt disappointed by it?
I think so, because I think Kaiju number 8, I kind of expect to be disappointed, and I think it did. I don't know if it did cool things this year, but some of the fights were entertaining to a certain degree. Like, it's just popcorn that I read when it comes out. Like, I don't hate it, and it's so simple that it's a fast read. It's not trying to be anything more than it is at this point. Or maybe it is. I don't know if that's true or not.
All right, so then 59 is Zombie 100. And you want to keep Kaiju number 8 going a little longer?
Maybe a spot or two, unless you want to get rid of it because you got nothing better to get rid of. I'm not fighting for Kaiju number 8.
I have other things to get rid of, like Kagurabachi, but
Kagurabachi goes further than Kaiju number 8.
Kagurabachi, yeah, but Kagurabachi is just an absolute meme series. I don't. People like memed it into popularity, and I think it has some merit, but like it's nothing special, and it's not going to last.
Did it meme into popularity, or was it actually that good for the first chapter or two, and then it just sort of fell on its ass based on the expectations that were set upon it?
I think part of its initial success was because people were memeing it, and it was genuinely a solid first chapter, but I think it's still riding on the coattails of that early success, and I genuinely don't think it's going to last.
I agree with you to the extent that it's definitely riding on the coattails of that first chapter. Because I remember the first chapter, I was blown away. Like that first color spread of him just cutting up all the Yakuza members, and the fish are so nicely designed. And the father and son relationship is very warming. And it's like, oh man, when you lose him, it really hurt. But then after that, it's really, it reminds me of Aliens area, where it's like the pace of this is rapidly going up. And it makes me feel like there's a fire under their butt that,
you're already trying to not get canceled. Yeah,
that's how I feel right now. I think it goes a couple further spots, frankly.
Okay, I mean, there are other things that like I'm lukewarm on that I can get rid of. Atelier Ryza. I didn't finish the anime. I only watched it because of the thighs of Ryza, which is the big selling point of Atelier Ryza. But at the end of the day, it's a really slow series about a novice alchemist literally just gathering the materials and starting up at zero and getting some really, 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 really nice thigh shots. But thigh shots can only carry you so far.
I was going to ask you, why is the first episode 40 minutes long? Because I wanted to watch it to see what it was all about. And I was like, no, I can't do this right now.
It's 40 minutes of nothing. It's so slow. And which is great because you get the thighs. But it's just not enough.
If Rob is saying it's slow, it's slow.
Yeah, I love slow slice of life, but this is even too slow for me. I would have rather had just 40 minutes of thigh shots. Then it would be top 5.
So that's Atelier Ryza at 58. Let's get rid of Wild Strawberry.
Is that the Chainsaw Man with vegetables?
Yeah, it's kind of the Chainsaw Man with vegetables. I have not heard it called
bell
that.
Peppers?
Yes, with bell peppers. If you read Fire Force, which is sort of like, it feels like Fire Force is kind of like trying to turn Bleach into what firefighters would be. This is the plant version of that.
I don't understand any further from what you've said.
We've gone too many directions off. I think the beginning, I was like, oh, wow, this feels a lot like Fire Force and Chainsaw Man combined. And I was like, this feels kind of cool, but the writing is kind of getting iffier. And it's like, it feels too much copycatting and not enough of its own story that it's trying to tell. Designs are cute. Art is decent. It can go here. 57. Wild Strawberry.
Why are we still carrying Kaiju number 8?
Because everything else, wow, we have from 71 to 57 is that bad that I think Kaiju number 8 can go out here at 56.
Finally. It's so mediocre. I mean, talking about series that like are riding off the coattails of their strong starts, that's what Kaiju number 8 is. I did really well, like sales-wise. I think its first 3 volumes. And I don't know what the sales are now, but like it has not been good since its strong start.
And now it's getting an anime, apparently.
Oh, well, I said it the same thing last year. Kaiju number 8 starts with the great premise of having an older shonen protagonist, but then you realize he's written like a 12-year-old anyway, and it loses all its effect. And that's why I'm not a big fan of it anymore.
I think that's fair. Are you still reading it when it comes out every week? Because like I said earlier, I read it for popcorn, and it's like...
I'm a few months behind. I'm definitely a few months behind.
You haven't missed much.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I think Rurouni Kenshin might go out here. This is a re-release or a re-adaptation of the 1990s series, which is so near and dear to my heart. But this one is like, it has sucked out a lot of the soul of that original hand-drawn series, and you're not getting anything new. I think I recommended this to you because I like the series so much, and I'm like, you really got to give this a try. And this is modernized. It should be even better and improved upon, but I think it's taken multiple steps backwards, sadly.
Look, I know Rurouni Kenshin, and the fact that you have 2 on Ice going further than Rurouni Kenshin is insane to me. It's terrible.
It's not. It has so much heart. Okay.
It looks like Chicken Scratch.
It does look like Chicken Scratch. There's another manga on here that kind of looks like Chicken Scratch that can keep going a little bit further as well. Yeah, it's definitely... Maybe it's because I've seen Rurouni Kenshin. Maybe if this was my first time watching Rurouni Kenshin, this could go further. But it just adds nothing new to a series that was done better than it 30 years later.
Right. I mean, but... I see things like 2 on Ice and Kagurabachi still here, and Rurouni Kenshin is a staple series.
The thing is, we're not comparing Rurouni Kenshin of classic to... Okay, we could probably push Rurouni Kenshin further than Kagurabachi.
Thank you. I don't even watch Rurouni Kenshin. I've never read or watched it. I think it's a little more deserving than...
You're just honoring the classics here.
2 on Ice.
So
yeah, come on.
So Kagurabachi, amazing first chapter, kind of fallen off since then. Let's see if it can make a recovery. I don't think it will. That will go out at number 55, and then Rurouni Kenshin out at 54.
All right, I will get rid of Shuna's Journey at this point. It's a Hayao Miyazaki manga. It's completely in watercolor, and it's gorgeous to look at and read through. But the story itself is like really like paint by numbers, like Miyazaki's story of humans are terrible, nature is great. When humans mess with nature, humans lose. Like it's boring. if it wasn't so beautiful to look at, and if it didn't have Hayao Miyazaki's name on it, I would not have continued reading it. But it did.
I was literally going to ask how much of this is getting on by brand recognition.
100%. But I think it's also the art, though, and I think art can carry a story, or art can carry your interest, and I wouldn't say it carries a story, but it's worth flipping through even as an art book. And I'm a slut for watercolor. I love watercolor. So, this is here strictly for that.
You always manage to find that one little watercolor gem every year. What was it, like 2 years ago? And it made it into our top.
Oh my God.
20? Stargirl?
Was it Seizen and Comic Girl? Seizen and Comic Girl, which was actually a really good story. But the story itself was really good. But like that was the watercolor as well, and it was beautiful.
Okay, so that...
I told you, I'm a slut for watercolor.
I'm a slut for watercolor too. I just never find it. I don't know how you find these hidden gems.
Well, it's Hayao Miyazaki. It's not a hidden gem. It's not hidden at all.
I think anyone, even your average Ghibli fan, will not know about Shuna's Journey. I think it's quite hidden as far as Studio Ghibli goes.
No.
For sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not a movie. It's not Studio Ghibli. It's Miyazaki's manga, but still, it's nothing Hayao Miyazaki does can be considered a hidden gem.
I think it's hidden beneath the treasure trove, even though there is a treasure trove there.
I guess.
Anyway, I digress. Okay, we're speeding through this. Let's get rid of... Is there any of the stuff that I've been trying to keep too long besides 2 on Ice?
It's 100% 2 on Ice. I'm ready to get rid of My Hero Academia. It's like this war is probably never going to end. This actually one battle is probably never going to end against All for One or One for All. I forget which one is which, but I'm kind of over it. Like he got a really edgy flashback that we just finished, and I didn't really jive with it. But we also had like All Might trying to kill himself for like 15 chapters.
Oh, Mega All Might.
And then like he beat the allegations and then didn't die. There's never been a character with more death flags in anything I've ever watched or read than All Might, and the man came through and survived. Honestly, that alone should get this into the top 50. I need 2 more spots for My Hero Academia.
I occasionally peek into the Shonen Jump app just to see how My Hero Academia is doing, and I saw Mecha All Might, and even though My Hero Academia is trash, I dropped it like 300 chapters ago, I will let it go to 50 just because of Mecha All Might.
Thank you.
Let me get rid of... Okay, I got 2 to get rid of. I will get rid of Gokurakugai, which is a beautifully drawn shonen manga about a half-demon boy, and he fights other demons, because you've never heard this one before. And
never heard that one before.
Fascinating premise, and I really wanted to like this because the art was great, and I told myself I'd catch up, and I caught up, and I don't remember any of it. Honestly, it can probably go a couple slots lower. I mean, do you want to bring Shuna's Journey and Rurouni Kenshin up? And Kagurabachi, honestly. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Fine. I don't even care.
It went too high. I'm going to slot it in at number 59. I'm going to raise like 8 things up.
So it was so forgettable that you forgot to even eliminate it.
Yeah, that's how I felt about Gokurakugai. Beautiful art.
That is never, ever a good thing.
Yeah. I was thinking about Zombie 100. I was like, I bought 3 of these volumes. I'm making this worth more than this thing that I don't even remember.
All right, so Kagurabachi goes up, Rurouni Kenshin goes up, Shuna's Journey goes up. So we're at 51?
We are now at 51. Shuna's Journey was our highest cut at 52, and I'm putting Gokurakugai in at 59.
Okay. And we're going to do My Hero Academia at 50.
Yes, potentially. I will get rid of... Okay, let's talk about this really quick. I read 1 volume of this manga called Descending Stories Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinjo. It's about this guy who gets out of jail, and there's this Rakugo artist or performer that he really loves, and he wants to study under him. It seems like there's a real story to be told here, but it is very slow. I don't want to quite call it boring, but I was not compelled to continue reading. I think I will in the future, but I just had a lot of other things going on at the time. Does that one potentially good story unpacked, is that better or worse than the trash that you did read that is My Hero Academia?
I don't know. I feel like Mecha All Might clears a Rakugo artist or something.
Fair enough. Okay.
I don't think he's losing that fight.
Okay. The other guy did go to prison, so he might be able to catch hands, but we'll throw him in at 51.
All Might puts everyone into prison. All Might put him in there to begin with.
That's well said.
Is it?
So that is Descending Stories Showa, Genroku, Rakugo, Shinju. I'm also putting it there so I don't have to say its name again because that is very difficult.
Is there any more Naruto we can get rid of?
No, absolutely not.
Are you kidding me?
Dude, there's 2 Narutos left. We got rid of like 4 of them.
There's way too much Naruto on this list to begin with. That's the problem.
That I won't disagree with. But I read a lot of Naruto. It is the year of our Lord 2023, and I read a lot of Naruto.
I guess going by the whole, like, if I can't even remember what happened, we should probably eliminate this. I'll go with Shoha Shoten. Because as much as I enjoy Shoha Shoten, I can't really remember the last time a chapter even came out.
Oh, I thought I saw you looking up in the corner thinking, and I thought you were thinking about the last time it came out.
I'm opening the Shonen Jump app to see when the last chapter came out because I genuinely cannot remember. And I enjoy it. It's like a really fun, stand-up comedy manga, but I can't remember anything about it right now from this year.
I had like an agenda against Shoha Shoten last year, and I like needed to get rid of it. And I told myself, I will not touch this. I did not read it at all this year. This is all yours right now, Rob. Has it been good?
Well, I just looked. I'm 5 chapters back. I haven't read it since June.
So you haven't read it either.
I haven't really read it either. I read a few chapters this year, so it is on the list, but I guess
My Hero Academia better than Showa Shoten, considering you only read like 4 chapters of it?
I think Mecha All Might should probably be higher than Shoha Shoten this year.
It is nice to have Mecha All Might at number 50, though, but maybe it goes a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Why am I fighting for My Hero Academia? This is wrong.
Justin, you're fighting for Mecha All Might. Remember that.
I am fighting for Mecha All Might. And also the Yuri love match.
That's all that matters. Okay, so Showa Shoten at 50.
Okay.
My Hero Academia at 49. And 2 on Ice at 48.
Let me think about it. Okay. How about Buddy Daddies at 48?
Whoa. What? You didn't like Buddy Daddies?
I watched 3 episodes of Buddy Daddies and I got bored.
No, I know. The first 3 are a little slow, but Buddy Daddies really takes off. And my hot take this year was that I enjoyed Buddy Daddies more than I enjoyed Spy Family.
Whoa, you really like Buddy Daddies.
Yeah. Well, I did really like Buddy Daddies, but I also have grown a little bored with Spy Family.
We're too early for this conversation. I didn't think that I didn't realize Buddy Daddies was that esteemed for you, so that we're like 20 to 40 spots too early right now.
To have this Spy Family conversation?
Yeah. I didn't think we were anywhere close to there. Oh, let's see. What else can I get rid of before 2 on Ice?
I have other stuff I'm willing to knock out a few. Like Spider-Man was just
I saw
kid
that.
fun Spider-Man suit. It was good. It was a really solid manga about Spider-Man. Kid finds Spider-Man suit, has no powers, tries to help people. Hijinks ensue. It was solid. Nothing great, nothing special. Can absolutely go out here, but I did enjoy it.
Okay. How about... Okay, so 48, Spider-Man. 47...
Yes.
How about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable Part 2?
You can't come on. Oh. This isn't fair, because I love Diamond is Unbreakable, but I didn't watch it this year, obviously. You did. And you absolutely despised it. So this is one of those, like, what are we arguing? Are we arguing about Diamond is Unbreakable, or are we arguing about how much you enjoy Diamond is Unbreakable?
I'd say I have about 80% of the vote here. I think you can push things further along. This obviously isn't going to make it into our top 30. But again, it's just this part that I consumed this year. We're talking about here. Let me list out the fights for you. Okay. This is post the midpoint. This is the alien. This is the guy who pisses and shits in the tower and can't leave. This is the little demon that crawls on your back. This is the highway motor star. What's he called? Highway Star?
Highway Star.
Highway Star.
Highway Star.
This is the cat plant that shoots fireballs. This is the naked scene in the bathtub with the son and the father. And this is the very disappointing final fight. I'm not saying it has to go here, but I'm just saying this is what we're working with. We were not working with the series as a whole. Even as a whole, I don't love the series, but just hear me out on these 10 episodes.
You didn't love the final fight where he gets run over by the ambulance after playing with the nurse's hand and talking about how the Mona Lisa gave him a boner?
That was my favorite part of the whole thing. That is what I wish the rest of this 10 episodes was. But it was just monster of the week after monster of the week of these totally uninteresting characters, in my opinion. Alien, I do have to say, Alien did grow on me after a little bit. But
wait, was that when he also burns down Rohan's house?
Episodes.
Was that one of the episodes you watched?
Yeah. This is the one where he's trying to swindle Rohan, and the alien keeps vomiting from being rotated as a couple of dice, and then he burns down Rohan's house. It can go a little bit further as we laugh about this. I do remember some parts of it.
Get me to 40 with Diamond Unbreakable. I love Diamond Unbreakable.
It is not going to 40, Rob. We are at 49.
Okay, give me to 45. Get me to 45.
You're going to have to help me there.
I already got rid of... I was going to say I already got rid of Spider-Man. Like I made some huge sacrifice, which I didn't.
Spider-Man made the ultimate sacrifice.
He always does.
So Spider-Man's at 48. And at 47, what's the Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten? Tell me about that.
Oh, man, it's really boring.
Ouch, Rob.
It's a really diabetes sweet, like romance show with like this kid that has basically no friends, and this like beautiful girl moves in next door to him that everybody at school calls like the angel because she's so like perfect, but like she just comes over and like cleans his house and takes care of him and cooks for him and all of this, and it's really boring, but like so sickeningly sweet. And I know it's still here. I wasn't going to push it much further, but like I also, I wasn't just letting it linger because I forgot about it. I can get rid of it. Is it
better than these 24 other series, which frankly are not that good?
Okay, relax. It's better than everything we've limited so far, but I also didn't finish it.
So
because I got bored.
I'm just having a hard time understanding how it's better than these other. Actually, no, I don't. I'm looking at this list and okay.
We have a lot of junk at the bottom.
So that puts The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten at number 47. And you know what, listeners, I just want to say, if you have been with us before, usually we are not this disorganized with like throwing things in the middle and moving whole chunks of things and me going 6 in a row. This is not normally what we do. We're just trying to expedite this process so we can get into the meat of this conversation.
But I think this is the most top heavy year we've had, whereas like in other years, even in our top 25, we have stuff that's like kind of mediocre, whereas this year I think everything in our top 35 will be things that could be in either of our top 5s. There's a lot of stuff this year that I absolutely loved.
That's without a doubt true. I think even in the last like 2 months, I have things that are in the top. All 6 of those things are in the top 20.
That's what I'm saying. I think we were talking about this the other day. The fall 2023 anime season may be one of the best anime seasons I've ever like experienced personally.
No, without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why there's a lot of junk at the bottom that we just want to get rid of, because we have a lot of actual good stuff we want to talk about.
Okay. So, all right, let me look through this list really quick before I make any rash decisions.
What, to continue carrying 2 on Ice?
2 on Ice is pretty good. Okay, it's not that good, but it's...
You gotta get rid of 2 on Ice.
Okay. I think we need to do a double suicide here.
Okay.
And I think the double suicide is 2 on Ice and Green Green Greens, which only has 2 chapters out.
3 chapters, yes, but I am fine with that. Green Green Greens is a very promising golf manga in Shonen Jump. We don't know yet what its fate will be, but I've enjoyed it so far, and it seems you have as well, Justin.
I really have enjoyed it, and I feel like I'm just getting rid of it this early-ish on principle of 3 chapters.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's 3 chapters.
I think that anyone can write 3 chapters well. I think if you can make it to 10 chapters well, that's when you start writing a real manga.
Well, I think they have 4 chapters written before they even start their run.
To get the check marked and also give them a head start to not die immediately.
Right, yeah.
Is there anything here that is worse vibes than Green Green Greens that you want to push both of those up?
I mean, other than the Naruto junk, no.
Okay, then I will say my obituary for 2 on Ice. As I said earlier,
finally,
at number 46, 2 on Ice. 2 on Ice is a very sweet manga that's very sketchily drawn. Sometimes you're like, wow, she can really draw. I'm assuming it's a woman. She can really draw these beautiful ice skating triple axles, but then also you're like, wow, this person doesn't know how to draw at all. It's about a boy who grew up watching this young girl figure skater, and he lives in the boonies, and every winter he would go outside and skate until like 3 a.m. when the lake near his house was frozen over, emulating all of her moves, and he's totally self-taught. And then he finally moves to Tokyo to rejoin this girl and find her so that he can skate with her. Very recently, she says she's trying to skate in pairs because she knows that as a woman, she cannot go further in singles. Like, women get worse in ice skating as they get older because they're less flexible and they're heavier. So she wants to skate in pairs, and he could be the perfect pair for her. But he's so naturally talented that he has the option to go and do singles and become like an actually good male ice skater by himself. So he competes, and he's really good relative to like the fact that he's a total newbie. And he chooses to stay with her because that's part of the plot. But also, it's very sweet and romantic. And I don't enjoy reading it. It's the last thing I read every single week.
I don't enjoy reading it.
But then when I finish reading it, I'm like, wow, that punched me in the Doki Dokis quite a bit. And
I don't enjoy reading it, but I love it. No.
That's how I feel.
Come
It's
on.
very conflicting. And I'm sad to see it go out here at 46. It probably could have gone like maybe 5 spots higher if it was just me.
Insane.
2 on Ice, number 46.
2 on Ice. Green, green, greens. Diamond is Unbreakable at 44. So we're at 43. I'll get rid of the K-On! Manga.
That's the one that I was eyeing.
Of like, it's good. It's K-On! How could it not be good? You love K-On!
I loved K-On! 10 years ago. I don't think I could stand a single episode right now.
You didn't watch the Christmas special this year?
I did not watch the Christmas special this year.
You disgust me.
I still have 2 weeks.
Our girls of the afternoon tea time band, just in manga form, 4-koma manga form, and it's a good time. And it's in color.
Oh, is it?
I think a lot of it was in color. Maybe it wasn't all in color. I don't remember. I read this at the very beginning of the year, but it was a good time. It's K-On! It's obviously nothing special, but I wasn't. This is just like Angel Next Door. I wasn't ignoring it. I did enjoy it, and I did like it. But once again, there's a lot of stuff here that I loved, and this is just something I liked. And it's a second run-through of K-On!, so it's done here.
You know what? I'm remembering as we talk about them, I do love those girls.
Yeah, come on.
When I say those girls, it's always these girls.
It's Yui.
Oh, it's Yui and Mugi's eyebrows.
Mugi.
Let's get rid of. Let's get rid
of Blue Box. Come on. We don't like Blue Box. Let's just admit it to ourselves that we do not like Blue Box. We love Blue Box on principle and on its original first few chapters, and we do nothing but complain about how frustrating Blue Box is.
Okay, this is how I feel about Blue Box. I think Blue Box is like literally the sharpest, most needle-like mountain to ever exist. It's like we have the entire Yumika basketball arc, and like, who the fuck is Yumika? Like, who gives a shit about this shitty side character that was so poorly developed? And then we have the confession that came out of like the most left of left fields that I was like, wow, this shouldn't even be in this chapter, but wow, did this feel great. And then it's like, oh, this romance is going to do something, but oh boy, does it not.
No, it's so flat, and like, I guarantee you they are going to break up at some point, because this is such a poorly written romance that it has to be by design.
And I've talked about this before, but I hate when the writer does this, especially this writer, where they're about to potentially kiss or like touch hands or something. And it's like, hey kids, I'm home. Or like, oh, someone knocked on the locker room door. And I'm just let them work. Let them not work out, but at least let them figure it out themselves rather than some mystical third force intervening every single
generic
time.
Romance trope.
Yeah
Let them have a conversation. Hey mate, I'm not ready for this right now, or hey, like, this isn't the best idea. Don't have these stupid, unfunny generic romance tropes.
Can I throw out one more thing to complain about that I think is hilarious?
Absolutely.
And it is the most recent chapter. Both of them say, man, I really want to get to playoffs. I'm like, what do you guys even play? Like, I've literally never seen Chinatsu ever hit a basket.
Right? When's the last time she took a jump shot?
I have no idea.
When's the last time she drove to the hoop?
What position does she even play? I don't fucking know, because this isn't even a sports manga. It's disguised as a sports manga.
That's a very good point. I don't know what position she even plays in basketball.
That's horrible. There's only 5 positions. Okay, I will let you decide this, Rob. I'm going to throw Naruto Konoha Story, The Steam Ninja Scrolls, the manga, as 2 colons here.
Is it really called that?
I think it is. It has 2 colons and a hyphen. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, let's get rid of that first.
I really love this in the beginning of the year because it has Guy and Kakashi playing ping pong, and she has to make dumplings for Choji, and yeah, it's a fun time. You're just chilling with your favorite ninjas, but they're all older, and man, was that ending pretty mediocre? And boy, maybe the whole thing was mediocre, but it was just a cozy vibe.
It's done. And then Blue Box at 41.
So that puts Naruto Konoha's story at 42. Does Blue Box make it to 40?
No. Unless you have unless you have something, unless you want to get rid of Sasuke's bullshit story, then no.
Sasuke's raptor.
Actually, you know what, Justin? I'm willing to get rid of One Punch Man, which is another series that I no longer really jump to anymore. Where I'm no longer like excited by a new chapter of One Punch Man. I'm kind of just over it.
I read it every week. It's an easy read. It's like a better version of Kaiju #8. Like sometimes it's a little funny. The action's quick. It's not too deep. There's a ninja story going on right now, and you know how much you love ninjas. Can we put that below Konoha's story and Blue Box and push those to 41 and 40?
That's fine. So Blue Box is at 40?
Yeah.
Or Blue Box is at... And where's One Punch Man? 42?
I put Can 43, One Punch Man 42,
Gotcha. Okay.
Naruto 41, and Blue Box 40. And the reason I say that is because this year of One Punch Man is no different than any other year of One Punch Man. Whereas these other two, like, at least you're going to remember them as shit as they were sometimes.
Right. And One Punch Man really is just middling at this point.
It's never bad. It's just never memorable anymore.
Yeah, it's just fine. But you got to be better than fine to get into our top 40, because this is starting to heat up.
It is cutthroat out here. We have 39 series left. And I think we're pretty close to the good territory. I don't know if we're quite there yet.
I mean, I think at this point, something that is worth talking about is Akane Banashi, which is a series that I feel like I want people to know that I like to make me sound smart. Like, oh, yes, I read this Rakugo series. Oh, you don't know what Rakugo is? Well, it's the Japanese art of storytelling in one seated position with just a fan. Oh, you didn't know that? I like it. I like Akane as a main character. It has good supporting characters, but like sometimes I find myself not really connecting with it and with the stories being told. I do like the way they tell the Rakugo stories and kind of the shift in art style to show us a visual of the story. But, you know, it's a story that will work a lot better as an anime because you're not getting the emotion from the character speaking and the flow and the pacing that I'm sure that storytelling of Rakugo needs. Rakugo as a manga is seemingly pretty hard to do, and I think they do it very well. I just think I'll enjoy this more when it gets animated.
I think we probably have the same-ish feelings about Akane, and that like yours are obviously stronger, but I want to like Akane. Akane is doing something really cool for Rakugo, but it's like, how exciting can sitting there with the fan be? Like there's a ceiling that unfortunately hits, and it doesn't change it enough that it's more exciting each time.
Right. But I think it can push past that ceiling with an anime adaptation. And you haven't been reading it recently, but it has been doing things a little differently to try to spice things up. So it's definitely on an upswing as well. But I love it still. And that's just to say the other 39 series, at least the ones of here that I've seen and engaged with, I really like. Although, why do we still have Suzume?
Suzume goes further.
Because I think... Does it, though?
It definitely does.
What of your series did you dislike more than Suzume?
I'm ready to cut a couple things before Suzume, for sure. I think Suzume can go, for me, at least 10 more spots.
Okay.
Maybe at least 5 minimum.
Be my guest.
I think Trigun Stampede has to go here very sadly. Honestly, it probably could have gone out a little bit earlier. Maybe my love of Trigun is pushing this further than it should have. I only watched I want to say 5 to 7 episodes, and they have taken a more sci-fi route to a previous more Western story. And I think the original story was very funny at first, funny and goofy, and then it slowly peels back to the layers into this very sad and broken man. And this one, they slap it on you right in the beginning. The 3D is well done, but also I found myself bored at times. Honestly, I think it's gone a little bit too far.
It's sad because I know Trigun is something that is important to you. It's sad that this adaptation didn't really cut it too well for you.
I've heard that it's actually quite good. Like, people say good things about this, so next year I want to give it a try. But I didn't want to try to like come back from Japan and force myself to watch like 15 episodes of Trigun just for the sake of anime of the year. It could come back next year at a much higher place. But frankly, Rob, like, I hate to keep doing this because it just shows how disorganized we are. But I think I want to drop it a few spots.
That's fine with me. Where would you like to put it?
Oh man, it's going pretty far back now that I think about it. I think just
really we're going out of the top 50.
Not that far. I'd say maybe right behind Two on Ice, or if you really like the Angels.
Okay,
the Angel Next Door spoils me. No. Somewhere around there.
It's good at 46 then.
Okay. So
you get yourself 2 on 5 Ice into the top 45. So then Akane Banashi's at 39, right?
That puts Akane Banashi at 38. And Trigun Stampede at 45. Oh, I'm sorry, at 46.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
I kind of liked Blue Box at 40, frankly.
I did too, but I guess it's in the top 39. Okay, I would say at this point, I do like everything I have left. The Mashle anime, really good anime adaptation of Mashle. Mashle is, our fun gag manga Harry Potter, and where he just punches instead of uses magic because he doesn't have the ability to use magic. It's funny. They got a really good
Rock Lee at Hogwarts.
Yeah, Rock Lee at Hogwarts. They got a really good deadpan voice actor for Mashle that worked for me. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. I watched the whole season. I really loved the OP for some reason. It just hyped me up. It was another and then there was the funny end theme about cream puffs that just did not fit the vibe of the show at all. Also perfect. I love Mashle, but we're at the point where all of these series are really good, and there's only so much an early season of a comedy fighting series can do, and it can't do much more than this for me.
Rob, you said something that I just don't think is true, and you said we're at the point where all these series are really good, and I don't think we're there yet.
Well, for me, what are you saying then?
I think I got to get rid of Terraformers.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's up to you.
I think Terraformers is a series about, I read 130 chapters where a whole bunch of humans combined with animals go to Mars to go fight off
this one.
humanoid cockroaches. Wow, what a trip this was. This is my Baki of this year. I have no regrets reading this, but this thing just imploded upon itself. It was so entertaining and thrilling and anxiety inducing. It was hitting all the dopamine receptors in my brain until it just stopped thinking about its own story. Let me get rid of that before Mashle.
I mean, I personally enjoyed Mashle more than I enjoyed Suzume, but go off.
You want to talk about that?
Makoto Shinkai, I think, maybe is getting to the point where he's a little overrated. And honestly, he has 2 good movies. It's Your Name, it's Weathering with You.
And the Feet movie.
Garden of Words?
Garden of Words.
Yeah. Garden of Words is okay, and it's 40 minutes.
Yes.
Suzume was just so simplistic and so safe and doing everything you'd expect him to do, and it just felt almost patronizing. You will eat this up. Here are all the story beats that you love from my past movies, and here's some emotion, and here's Radwimps, and here's a big,
except not even good Radwimps.
Iconic. Yeah, there was barely any Radwimps, and here's our big iconic moment where you think somebody's dead, but no, they're going to save them. Don't worry, the power of love always prevails. And whereas Weathering with You and Your Name, I had to watch multiple times to really even figure out what was happening. I was predicting where Suzume was going to go. It was just so obvious what was going to happen next. I followed it way too easily. I sometimes like when a movie makes me feel stupid. This did not make me feel stupid at all.
I'm not disagreeing with a lot of what you're saying. I think one part that really pushes it for me is the first 45 minutes or so, it's just like a fun adventure. It's not about the predictability of it, more like it's goofy and silly. And she's like going on an adventures with a chair to close these doors. And I think that it also hits the people of Japan in a way because I think each of the door locations was where there were earthquakes. I think that it's a little bit deeper than you're giving it credit, even though I do agree with you that it does follow a lot of its tropey story beats. Is that fair to say?
I respect what you're saying, but like even then, like it didn't deviate from that. It was go to door, close door, go to door, close door, go to door, close door. It was, it just followed that throughout the movie. And I get that, that can be fun, but then it's just one of your least favorite things. It's monster of the week. It's just door of the week. How are we going to close this door?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think one thing that's doing it a disservice as we do this ranking is that you're comparing it next to two megastars that are its brothers, Your Name and Weathering with You and the Foot movie. And and I think in a vacuum, if you look at these 38 remaining series or 37, I think it's better than a few others. But when you compare it next to those two monsters, you're like, you've fallen off the cliff. And that's why I'm looking at you with such disdain right now, or disappointment.
It's disappointment. It's not disdain. Because like you said, if I had never seen Your Name and I'd never seen Weathering with You, I would have loved this. But since I had seen those movies, I kind of knew what to expect, and it didn't really go against what I had expected. And don't get me wrong, I hate things that subvert your expectations just for the sake of it. But this, it wasn't even like I wanted to have my expectations subverted. I just wanted to do something different.
Just tell a different story.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I totally get what you're saying. I think it goes a few spots further for me, frankly, and I can get rid of a couple too.
That's fine.
But that's my defense, and I think that the animation and the experience of going to watch it together with you and our friend Rich, like I think that's also a fun time, even if the movie wasn't as great as we were expecting it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, there was no Mitsuha.
There was no Mitsuha. That maybe it can go now. No, I'm kidding. No, I think it goes a couple spots more. How about Frieren?
So Mashle at 36, though. Oh, excuse me?
Kidding.
Yeah, you try to make sure I'm listening.
I'll give you Mashle at 35. I know how you love your numbers.
I do love Mashle at 35, yeah.
Mashle at 35 sounds nice, and I'll give you Beat in Motion at 36. And that's the other one that's really poorly drawn, but it's like a sweet romance of sort of a romance of this girl who wants to be a singer and this boy who wants to be an animator, and them trying to follow their dreams and giving up on their dreams and trying to push each other to go further. And they introduced this. There's a character that's used to be best friends with the main girl, and it reminds me a lot of Yumika from Blue Box, except it's actually good. No, except it's actually good.
Yeah.
When I'm reading these two side by side, I'm like, oh man, this other girl like really hates our main character girl for very justified reasons. And then you find out why our main character girl sort of abandoned her. And it's like, wow, this is what Yumika should have been if we really liked her.
Right.
And it's like, if you had taken the art style of Blue Box, which is still beautiful to this day, and given Beat in Motion this makeover, this could go up like another 10, 15 spots maybe. It's just one of the most amateurish looking drawings, but the story and characters and heart of it all are still really strong.
Right.
But I think it can go out here at 36.
Okay. So 36 is Beat in Motion, 35 is Mashle, 34 I'll get rid of Sneeze at this point. Sneeze is just a series of short stories by what's his name, Justin? The guy that did
the Monster
20th
guy.
Century Boys and Monster.
Starts with a U.
Is it Uesawa?
Urasawa.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of his short stories. They were all like a lot of fun. Some of them, were better than others. Some of them were like only 2 or 3 pages. But I thought it was really good. It was interesting. There was one about like some guy that can predict the future, and it was like a fun little mystery, and it was short, so like it just kept moving. And if there was like one of the one shots you didn't like, it didn't matter because you moved on from it so quickly. So overall, good experience.
I'm going to borrow that from you because I try to make it a point to read Urasawa every year, and I did not, but I'm glad he has some representation on this list in the year 2023. Yeah. So Sneeze at 34. I always confuse, I don't know why, maybe it's just because it's the same first letter, but I always confuse Sneeze and Solanin.
No, Solidin is the one about like the struggling
Band, right?
band after college and just like not wanting to work and not being able to move on with their lives, and that was a really really good manga, and I'm not ready to get rid of that yet.
Okay. You know what's interesting, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like I know almost every single series on this list at this point, which usually isn't the case. Do you feel the same?
I agree. Yes,
Which is
I
fun
think we can
because
have a back and forth conversation about everything at this point.
I think the only thing I don't know, Rob, is can you just tell me a little bit about The Dangers in My Heart?
This was a rom-com. I think it came out early in the year, and I didn't start the season watching it. I jumped in like episode 7 or 8 because it had a lot of positive reception. It's like this like really edgy like middle school kid, and he's like, you know, like really like edgy, like I hate everyone, everyone needs to die. And it starts off with like him writing like this really dark and twisted thing in his diary, and you think it's like going to be like a different type of series, but then like it just makes fun of like how edgy he is. And then there's like the really pretty girl, but she's like a weirdo, and she ends up like falling in love with him because she goes into the library to eat snacks because she's not allowed to eat snacks. She's just hiding from everyone so she can eat her snacks, and it's really silly, but in a 12 episodes of this, and it's an ongoing manga as well, the relationship actually develops, which cannot be said about most romantic comedies. Like they actually, I think by the end of season 1 are like a couple, and like they actually develop as characters, which is fun. I am ready to get rid of it here because it didn't stick with me like some of the other rom-coms I watched this year. And I think the problem with it is you're making your characters middle schoolers. And I think when you do that, it just like, it takes away a lot of what they can do because you made these characters so young.
Right, the appropriateness of, like, the furthest you can go is holding hands, and even that might be too spicy.
But also, it just feels weird, you know, when you're developing the relationship because it's like they're like 13, 14 years old. Or a relationship at that age isn't that believable.
Yeah, you gotta age them up at least like 16, 17 to make something that feels like it's going to turn into something.
So I did enjoy it, but I definitely can get rid of it here.
Okay. I think I'll get rid of Dandadan here. Dandadan, a very beautifully drawn series about aliens and yokai, and this genuine, also strong relationship between our two main characters that I want to see develop more. But at times, I also just don't enjoy reading it, even though I want to enjoy it. And I've heard that it keeps getting better. But I maybe got like 60 or 70 chapters in and took a pause. It's been overall a good experience, but I was expecting more from all of the hype, frankly.
Yeah, I tried reading it. I didn't like it. I'm so sick of demons and aliens or whatever it is, yokai. I'm just done with it.
Yeah, I think that this one takes a different quirk than our half demon boy shonen trope, and it's kind of got its own little quirks to it. But yeah, I do get where you're coming from. Like, give me something new. So that's all right. Dangers of the Heart at 33 and Dandadan out at 32.
Let's do One Piece now. I really enjoyed this year of One Piece, but like, you know, it had its ups, it had its downs. Although like out of the Straw Hat stuff, I really enjoyed like Law versus Blackbeard, Garb versus Blackbeard's crew. We had Shanks destroying Kid. We had Kuma's flashback, which I've really enjoyed. So there's been a lot of good in One Piece.
Dude, I think it's too early.
You think One Piece, you want it to go further?
I think so for sure. I'm up to date, and I read it in like a 20 chapter chunk, and now I'm up to date. I think overall it's been genuinely enjoyable after a really slow Egghead start. And I genuinely look forward to reading it every week, even if I think...
Oh, no, I agree with you. It's just all the Straw Hat stuff this year has not been really enjoyable. But other than that, I have loved Egghead.
How strongly are you feeling about Dragon Ball Super Superhero? Because this is something that I thought that you would make a mockery of as well.
No, I really genuinely enjoyed it. Give me 30. I just want 30 for this.
Oh, I'm not cutting it. I'm just
it wasn't going much further. Here. I think I was probably going to get rid of it at 30, but I just really love Piccolo and Gohan, and I really loved seeing their relationship actually have some heart to it in a series not even close to being known for its heart. That Special Beat canon was a lot of fun.
I 100% agree with you. I think Piccolo babysitting Pan and Piccolo and Gohan's bond together and Piccolo getting this cool power-up after he's been nerfed compared to all the Saiyans, great time. I think one of the worst parts about this entire thing was the final boss, Red Cell.
Yeah.
What a destruction of this charismatic genius character that is now just this like bumbling strong beast. Like could have been anything, plop a face on it.
It had no understanding of what Cell was and what made Cell. That was the biggest issue with it, yeah.
Yeah. That really took away the climax of part of the movie for me. I do like the fact that like they're kind of making fun of Akira Toriyama for not remembering his own works, and they're like, "Piccolo, can you get gigantic?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I can do that. I did that 40 years ago."
It was fun. It was tongue in cheek. I enjoyed it.
Okay, I can let it go a little bit.
I don't even need further. I just need 30.
That is further, Rob, by definition. I'll get rid of Chainsaw Man.
Oh, thank you. I hate Chainsaw Man. I'm not even going to talk about it. Anybody that's listened to this channel and has listened to me knows I hate Fujimoto. I see Goodbye Eri on here too. I don't know why that's still going, but you do you. I'm not even going to.
I think you hate the hype around Fujimoto more than you hate Fujimoto, frankly.
No, Fujimoto, I don't like Fujimoto because he just makes, like, it's just torture porn. It's like, I'm making something sad and terrible for the sake of making sad and terrible. Look how sad I can make something. Look how awful I can make people's lives. And at some point, it just loses its effect.
I get where you're coming from. I disagree. But I do think that sometimes he does things for the sake of surprising you.
Right. But I always say this. When you're always doing something for the sake of surprising people, it no longer becomes surprising. When you're constantly killing off your characters, when your character dies, I'm no longer shocked by it. I no longer care anymore.
I'm not saying that as a good thing. I that's one of the things I don't like about it. And I think that it's lost a lot of the charm that I really loved about part 1 of Chainsaw Man. I think that also the characters are not as lovable, like Aki and Himeno and Power. Like I haven't really grown that bond with the new cast surrounding Denji yet. Some of the battles have been fun, but at the same time, I'm never like itching for the next chapter of Chainsaw Man, which is why I think it can go out at 31.
Yeah. All right, so then Dragon Ball Super Superhero at 30?
Dragon Ball Super Superhero at 30.
Hell yeah. Okay. This is now getting really tough.
This might be the strongest top 30 we've ever had.
It absolutely is. I'm trying to think of like the mindset I want to have and how I want to tackle these. Are you ready to have the Spy Family conversation yet?
Soon.
And included in Spy Family is the anime, which season 2 came out this fall season. I don't know if you've been watching it. I know not. I started watching it and have not continued watching it because it's not on my radar. It just doesn't do it for me right now.
I don't know what happened. I guess we're having this conversation. I don't know what happened after that first 13 episodes, but I lost a lot of my excitement after I was totally in love with the series last year. And maybe, I don't know what it is. Like maybe the hype wore down because we saw how great it was. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be more of the same. And it couldn't hit that expectation of surprise.
I just think Spy Family's biggest issue is that its author didn't know how good his series was going to be, and now he needs to extend his plot, and as a result, we're getting zero romantic development. And it just feels like we're going out of our way to introduce new elements and new characters and new plot lines so that we can't get Lloyd and Yor, developed, which is frustrating.
Yeah, and it's really sad to see because you don't need to have them romantically involved yet. You just need to have them feel like they're a family to a certain degree, at least, or at least they're friends or something. They don't even appear in the same chapter most of the time, which is frustrating.
And we're constantly getting Lloyd telling us that he does not see these people as a family. It's just a mission. And we know he's lying to himself, but have him acknowledge it a little further that he cares about these people.
Show a couple more cracks in his perfection.
Right. Yeah. And I get it. You know what? I get it. That's why in his fight with Yuri, he didn't kill Yuri. I get that. But this is kind of a fluffy series. And it does have more serious themes, but in a fluffier series, sometimes we just need to be explicitly told something. Obviously, we can infer from the fact he doesn't kill Yuri, it's because, he cares about his family. That's Yor's brother. He's important to Yor. I can't do that to her. But, give us something where he's outright saying something.
Pander to me a little. But it's not even pandering.
That's what it is.
It's not even pandering. It's just the fact that he's literally just, dodging the elephant in the room where he's, instead of developing the story, let's make a little short story about something at Eden Academy that has no relevance to the plot. And it's funny, or maybe it's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
What I was going to ask you, Rob, is what do you think the peak of Spy Family was this year for you?
That is a very tough question. I don't know. I actually really enjoyed the recent chapter with the old man. I thought that had a lot of heart to it, and it showed the positives of both Yor and Anya. But I guess that's the most I've like enjoyed it, like feeling wise. Like I actually felt something while reading it.
I think you're probably going to agree, but you probably forgot. But the Red Circus bus kidnapping at the very beginning of the year was probably the peak of.
Oh, that was the beginning of this year? Okay, yeah.
Year.
No, that was good. Yeah, absolutely. I just forgot that was this year.
Yeah, I think besides that, the other major arc was the Yuri infiltration, or not infiltration, but the double agent arc, and that was okay.
Yeah.
I walked into Anime of the Year expecting Spy Family in the 25-ish area, which we're getting extremely close to. I don't think it goes out at 29, though. Not because I want it at 25 in particular. I just think that there's a couple other series maybe that go first.
I will just rattle off the ones that I'm done with, which is obviously Suzume, Goodbye Eri, obviously, because I hate Fujimoto.
Yeah, you don't have any context.
I don't need context. Honestly, that's about it. It's Suzume, it's Spy Family, it's Goodbye Eri for me. Solinen is probably going to go soon. Other than that, I know you're not getting rid of Sasuke yet, so you got to choose between Spy Family and Suzume at this point.
Sasuke can go really soon as well. I think these are probably our agreed upon laggards, like this tier right now.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a little bit about Nagatoro Season 2.
Buddy Daddies.
Talk to me about Nagatoro.
Don't even bother. We're getting rid of it.
What do you mean?
It's going to be in the top 25. It'll be soon after. It's Chad Pie really coming into his own as a massive, major Chad, and their relationship actually does start to develop, and there's that heart that we look for, and don't even bother.
That's fine.
It's Nagatoro.
I need to hear something that told me that there's actual meat there, rather than just like it's Nagatoro, so it obviously gets into the top 15.
No, we get the aquarium date in season 2, and that's more than enough to carry it into the top 25.
An aquarium date goes pretty far in my book, frankly.
Yeah. Here's what I'm willing to say to you,
okay,
Justin.
Sure.
I'm going to say Suzume, Spy Family, Buddy Daddies, Goodbye Eri, Nagatoro Season 2.
Goodbye Eri doesn't even come over here. No, it's not here yet. You can't just...
Okay, then Sasuke, and then I want Nagatoro Season 2 at 25, and I want Buddy Daddies ahead of Spy Family to prove
You don't get every single number. You don't get every single special number in the entire anime of the year. I'm just letting you know that.
It's fine. I do.
I'm deciding right now. I guess where I'm torn right now is like between Suzume, Spy Family, and maybe Sasuke's story. Those are probably the ones that I'd get rid of the most here.
All right. I'll give you Solinen now, and then you figure it out.
Deal.
I like Solinen, but I think if I read Solinen 5 years ago when my life was more like shit and I didn't know what was happening in my life, I would have enjoyed it more. But like reading it, like now that I kind of like am settled in with my family and happy and like in a good headspace, I'm like, oh, I really would have enjoyed this if I was really depressed. Like sometimes you enjoy something more because you hate your life and you're like, oh man, like they hate their lives and I hate my life. I really enjoy this. This is touching me. And it's really well written. And it really shows that struggle of like a young adult that doesn't know what they're doing and doesn't know what they want and, you know, is watching their life kind of fall apart. But I just missed out on that.
Man.
So I couldn't enjoy it to its fullest.
If I read this this year, we'd be throwing this in the top 10.
It's possible.
Okay.
All right, let's get it moving.
Solinen 29. Sasuke story, the Uchiha and the Heavenly Stardust 28.
Okay.
Sasuke becomes best friends with a velociraptor. He gives an engagement ring to Sakura. It's a fun time. It is the most fun I've had with Naruto in years. Don't take it too seriously.
I respect it.
It's fun. It's great. Dinosaurs. Spy Family or Suzume? I guess Spy Family has such a strong vibe as an ongoing series. But if I'm just looking at it at just these like 20 chapters that came out this year, I'd probably drop Spy Family before Suzume, and I don't feel confident saying that. But if you like Spy Family more, considering you've been watching the anime, but it doesn't sound like you have.
That's right. So I'd put Spy Family at 27, then Suzume at 26.
Oh, I don't like this.
Or Spy Family at 27, Buddy Daddies at 26, Suzume at 25.
I don't know if I like any of these. Part of me is like, why don't we just put Sasuke's story above all of them? I don't know.
If you want to do that, be my guest.
It doesn't matter. Okay. I'm just going to put these in some order and we'll figure it out. You like Buddy Daddies more than Spy Family though, right?
I want Buddy Daddies to have Spy Family this year, yes.
Can you sell me on why I should watch Buddy Daddies next year?
The thing that Buddy Daddies starts off not as great because the girl is really annoying. And Anya is such a fantastic character, and Anya never feels annoying, but the girl in Buddy Daddies does feel annoying. But what Buddy Daddies does well is they actually feel like a family, and they're a weird mix of people, and it doesn't make sense, but they genuinely care about each other, and that actually develops in 12 episodes, more so than Spy Family has in however many chapters it's been going, 90 chapters. So, what I want out of Spy Family is for that family to develop. Buddy Daddies does that.
Does it need those 9 episodes extra past episodes 3 where you're like, oh, I'm really enjoying them continuing to gel, that you're like getting better with each episode, or you're like, I'm done with this after a couple episodes?
No, it progressively develops, which is what I like about it. Like it leaves you wanting to see how it continues to develop and how they continue to develop. You have the cracks in their family because they are spies or assassins, whatever they are, and them trying to navigate all that, and it becomes a worthwhile watch. For honestly, the drama of it is enjoyable.
Okay, then I have decided on my order. So Solanin 29, Suzume no Tojimari at 28, and I did this because Suzume no Tojimari is a beautiful movie that leaves not like the nicest taste in my mouth because of that disappointment from his previous movies, even though I still appreciate it. But Sasuke's story is just such a fun time. Maybe it's because I had no expectations from Naruto this year. Then Spy Family at 26 and Buddy Daddies at 25.
Okay, so then Nagatoro's done. Nagatoro is great, but it's nothing special. I did love the development of Nagatoro and Chad Pai's relationship in this season. I love that we got our aquarium date. It was good.
I'm not saying that they're going out now, but between, what is that one that you did a Chad video of the girl who the boy thinks is a boy?
Oh, Tomo-chan is a girl? That's probably going soon. It's a concise series, Tomo-chan is a girl. It's only 12 episodes. It was I guess a 6-volume manga, so they did end up cutting some stuff from the manga, but it's got a very small cast of like 4.5 characters.
What is the half?
And it's like another like cousin of one of the characters that's like kind of important but not really, and then he ends up dating his cousin. It's complicated.
I'm sorry
about it. I said don't worry about it.
Okay.
So he's the half. The whole premise is like they're like childhood friends. Tomo is the girl and Jun is the boy, and they're constantly competing with each other, like who's stronger and all that. And for the most part, Tomo is stronger than Jun, and he basically just like has to prove himself before he can confess his love to her. But he doesn't even realize that he loves her. Like the first scene of the show is her saying, like, I love you, like confessing, and he's like, I love you too, you're my best friend. And like just like completely oblivious. And it's really, really solid. It's a nice, concise, quick rom-com.
Is it done?
A little bit of fan service. Yeah, it was just it's 12 episodes.
Oh,
that's
I'm
all
surprised they haven't tried to milk this.
No, that's all the manga was. It was a 6-volume manga or something like that.
Well, my initial question, Rob, here was, what do you think is better, Tomo-chan or Skip and Loafer was going to be my question. Not that either of them goes out here, just I wanted to know where you're at.
Well, Tomo-chan's going out soon, but Skip and Loafer is definitely better.
Okay. What are you eyeing besides Sayonara Eri, which you don't know much about?
The only one I don't know is Yomi no Sugai.
Oh, Yomi no Sugai is really cool because literally the only reason I was able to discover this was because I was in Japan. I walk into bookshops all the time, especially in Japan, because there's just manga everywhere and I love it. And then I kept seeing this one that kept popping up and I'm like, this looks just like Full Metal Alchemist. And after like the third or fourth time of seeing it, I had to look it up, and I figured out that Hiromu Arakawa, the author of Fullmetal Alchemist, made a new series like 3 years ago that just has not picked up the hype yet. And I read like every chapter that's out. It's like 20 chapters about this brother and sister who they have they have a pair of demons. Everyone has like a pair of demons, and they fight for some sort of destiny, some sort of prophecy that's still a mystery. It's a fun time. It's cool to see her go from the scientific route to this more kind of Shinto spiritual route. And I don't think
Interesting. Okay.
it doesn't go so much further, but it's nice to see this like relationship between the two siblings, as well as she's really good at creating a strong supporting cast that it doesn't make it feel like, oh, the world centers around them. It's like, oh, these are all individual people with their own personalities.
Do you think it will take off further at some point or no?
Yeah, I think it has to. I think we're still warming up. I think we're in prologue still.
Okay.
I think it goes out here. I don't think it hits top 20, frankly.
Okay. So Yomi no Sugai 23. I think Tomo-chan is about done here as well. So whichever order you prefer is fine with me.
I think you're probably stronger about Tomo than Yomi, so we'll do that.
Yeah. And also, I have very positive memories of Tomo-chan because that came out in winter, and that's when my daughter was first born, and I was like watching shows at like 3 a.m. as I was feeding her.
Aww.
So like this was one of those shows that I was watching, and like I have those positive memories of Tomo-chan from that.
Okay, that's very nice. I can get rid of the next two, and
Okay.
I think I will get rid of Bride Story at 21. And that's only like 2 or 3 volumes of Bride Story. But I think what's nice about what's been happening is there's this English guy who's been visiting the Middle Eastern area, and there's the ongoing war of Russia's happening. I think this is taking place in the 1980s, and he has these 2 guys who are protecting him, and they've been taking him from town to town trying to make it back so he can go back to England. At one point, like 10 Russian soldiers ambush them, and there's this like beefy Middle Eastern dude. He just murders the shit out of all of them. It's great, and it's like done very
and with beautiful art, right?
And with beautiful art. Yeah, this is one of the most beautiful series I've ever read. So that really sticks a memory in my mind. And then the other thing is the other guy who's kind of his guide is like they finally make it to their end destination, and he's like, "Your name is John, right?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, he's thinking about it. He's like, "Yeah, I'll name my first son after you," and that really like touched me in the heart. It's like, wow, these guys, they had their kind of journey together, and they're going to remember each other,
Right,
even though
right.
they're probably never going to see each other again, given the timepiece that this
They
is.
share that bond forever. Yeah.
They're sort of like weird brothers, even though they're from opposite sides of the world. And then you have all the shenanigans with all the other 5 brides going on in their day-to-day life. I still think this is something that you'd really enjoy. And those 2 to 3 volumes that I did read were memorable and just a joyful, comfy time.
I know, I said it last year, but I do need to read Bride Story. So that's 21 is Bride Story.
And I will get rid of...
Did you have something else?
Yes, and I will do this as a concession. Sayonara Eri.
Thank you, God.
Sayonara.
Sayonara
Eri. This one is such a ride.
All right, so Fujimoto garbage is gone.
I need to talk about this. I need to talk about this very briefly, which I'm very bad at doing, so maybe I won't. It's about a movie that this high school boy is filming about his dying mother. You're never going to read this, right?
Oh God, no.
You have no intention of ever reading this.
No.
So like, it's this like really heartfelt movie that, or it's not even a movie. At first it's just playing and it's talking about like, it's like, son, I want you to film my last moments. Let's make this story of my life. And then at the very, like, you're kind of following it. It's like, oh wow, like this is so sad. And you see her like on the hospital bed and she's going to pass soon. And then like at the very last second, you see him walking out of the hospital, and then the hospital explodes. and then it zooms out, and we're in his school auditorium, and this is a movie that he edited and made, but it's actually partially true. Like his mom actually was dying, and this is the edited version of the story that he made about his mom.
So it just ends with the explosion in the movie?
No, this is the first 25% of the entire one shot. And it just gets deeper and deeper and more ridiculous. But also, you have no idea where he's swerving. It's the best parts of Tatsuki Fujimoto. And I don't know if it was deep or if it was silly, but just thinking about it brings joy to me.
That's all you could ask for.
Sayonara Eri at 20.
All right. I'm thinking Kill Blue and Martial Master Asumi here. I'm leaning towards Kill Blue being higher.
I would lean the opposite, which is, I think, the battle that you and I have had with this pair the whole year.
It is, where Martial Master Asumi is a more grounded MMA series that shows, the realistic aspects of MMA. And I do like the main character's relationship with his grandfather, who basically has dementia due to his son's death, but like is still like a genius trainer and can still train his grandson to fight. And I do like the story it's telling. But Kill Blue is like absolute balls to the wall, like ridiculously stupid, like assassin turns into a kid comedy, and it's funny. I really enjoy it. It is so true to itself in being absolutely stupid, and I can't believe it's done by the same author of Kuroko no Basket, because as much as I enjoyed Kuroko no Basket, it was not like this at all. Like, Kill Blue is 100% better.
So I wanted to ask, is 100 Girlfriends really better than the two of these series?
It might be the smuttiest piece of garbage I've ever watched.
Sounds like a yes.
So yes.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, so yes.
I'm trying to see, because like this is such a strong top 20 at this point that I'm like, is there anything that I like less than these two? And maybe not. Yeah, I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
I can let... Okay, I think that the peak of Martial Master Asumi, which was the fight at the Underground tournament, was better than anything that Kill Blue has shown us so far. However, maybe Kill Blue has a few more frequent, stupid moments that are enjoyable that I would be willing to make that deal with you.
That's what it is. Sometimes you just need stupidity and something just easy to read and silly, and you need a good laugh. And I think Kill Blue, more than probably anything here, just gives me that weekly laugh that I need.
Okay. Then that puts Martial Master Asumi at 19 and Kill Blue out at 18.
And I'll get rid of the 100 Girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. Can go now as well.
What a title.
It's good.
So Skip and Loafer is your romance of the year.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
100 Girlfriends is smut. It's garbage. They write the stupidest metaphors, but they're so funny. And like, just watching him balance like all of these girls, I don't know how they're actually going to have 100 girls at some point. I can't even fathom how that's going to work, but I think they can do it.
I feel like when I watched the first episode, I said, this guy just wrote a premise and he's just going with it. I don't think he has any plan.
He might, though. He might.
He might just manage to do it. Let me ask you, are the next three girls better than the first two girls?
Yes, the girls get more. I wouldn't say better, but they have more like of a trope. Each girl obviously has to have some sort of trope to them. The first one's the tsundere,
right?
And the other one is just a stacked
rich girl. I think
rich girl, yeah. But I think they get more tropey, but in a good way. They have to be.
Okay, so 100 Girlfriends who really, 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 really love you.
17
goes out at number 17. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, I'm a big
17.
That's another one of my numbers. Let's. Are we ready to get rid of One Piece yet?
Are we ready to get rid of One Piece?
I will say that when we do these lists, for me personally, ongoing series have a bit of a handicap.
For sure.
And I didn't enjoy all of One Piece this year, as much as I have been enjoying One Piece in recent months.
Yeah, I think I can get rid of One Piece here. I think. Okay, let's talk about Shangri-La Frontier.
There's a weird.
Are we there?
Maybe soon, because there's a weird thing about Shangri-La Frontier where it should just be a video game anime, right? It's just a kid playing a VR game and entering a fantasy world and kind of dominating it. And that shouldn't be good. But there's something about it that just feels so classic. It feels like an anime of maybe even like 20 years ago. It feels like this would just fit right in with like, I don't know, I feel like if we grew up with this, if we were like 12 watching Shangri-La Frontier, we would absolutely adore it. And I think it still kind of clicks for me, even though we are older.
I agree. And I think the other thing that I really enjoy about it is it's not so serious. Like it has these huge battles that would be like the boss battle or like the final climax of any other series. But they're literally he's just playing a video game. And there's something nice about the lightheartedness of the fact that there's no stakes involved. And it's just this kid who really loves playing video games, and you see that passion through his absurdity.
Yeah, and I like that sometimes, like, in the really, like, moments that might start feeling a little too serious, like, he'll remember to, like, they'll reference that, like, I'm playing a video game. Like, he'll say something, like, silly, like, oh, when I was playing that trash game, this is exactly what, like, inspired me to do this move, or, like, this and that. And it does a good job of not shoving in your face that it's a video game, but also, like, you know, not being too serious and, like, making this world an overly serious, like, isekai world. Because it's not an isekai. It's very close to being one, but it's not. And it keeps itself from being that awful, awful genre that is isekai.
I think it does a couple of other things really well. And are you up to date on this?
Yes.
I am surprised that Bunny Girl did not make our waifu of the year list.
She's a literal rabbit. I know she has her human form, but I'm not there with it.
You're pushing the boundaries a little too closely, maybe?
Can't do it.
I think that the romance, or the non-existing romance between him and his classmate, is also hilarious.
I think it's hilarious.
Like the gigantic level 99 knight who's sort of like touching the fingers together and like nervously hiding behind a trash can. I think that this is one of those series that I think is absolutely excellent, but I think that it peaks out at a certain place and it just doesn't have the ability to compete with the best of the best. And I think it's in this area.
I'd be okay with One Piece at 16, Shangri-La Frontier at 15.
I think I can get behind that. Yeah.
Okay. This is getting rough. I'm surprised you love Dr. Stone this much.
Oh, I don't. Oh yeah, I was thinking about cutting Dr. Stone like a few spots ago, but I just forgot.
Okay, then let's put it 8 at 16, One Piece 15, Shangri-La 14.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? That's the right spot for it. It's better than our middling good series like 100 Girlfriends, Kill Blue, and Martial Master Asumi. I have like the entire catalog of Stone Wars to the end of the series and the couple of chapters that came out recently.
And you saying that, and I know that's what you've read this year. I think the peak of Dr. Stone is the beginning of it. So, you know, I think it does lose points for just being that latter half of it.
It's so sad. I don't know if it's sad or impressive how strong that first season of Dr. Stone is. Because I remember when they were inventing things from the Stone Age and getting to like wheels and water wheels and just, I don't remember, cola. Like that was so exciting. And I think one of the things that hurts Dr. Stone is like they just start pooping out inventions like it's no big deal.
Yep.
Like a rocket ship comes out in one chapter when it took like 4 chapters to come up with I don't
medicine.
know.
You had a whole arc just to develop medicine. Yeah.
Yeah. So it just sort of feels like it advances too quickly, but at the same time, I don't know how else they could do it when they set the stakes at the moon.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to know all the science behind it, even though that's sort of the appeal. It's this weird balance that's really hard to hit, and I don't think they nail it, but I also don't think they flubbed it either.
Exactly. They did the best with it that they could, I think. And for that, I really enjoyed Dr. Stone as a series. I have every volume. I collected Dr. Stone. It was one of my favorite things that I read during, 2020 during the pandemic. But, it definitely falls off at some point, but not enough where it was ever worth dropping for me. I still enjoyed it, but it never reached the highs of the beginning. So 16 is good, I think.
I want to say one more thing, and I think that the characters are fun, but they're almost not real humans. Like they're just sort of tropey. Like you just have Chrome just saying like bad all the time.
They each have their quirk and they live into that quirk.
They live into that quirk. And I think I would really love to have seen more development. Like I thought the relationship between Kohaku and Senku was really sweet. And I wish that they kind of expounded on their friendship or romance a little bit more. And I wish we had more of that throughout all of our characters. Even though I enjoyed the characters, none of them ever went deep enough.
So we are at 13 here. I would say...
I feel like we breezed, but we're 2 hours in, Rob.
We're doing it, man. I'm going to go with the first slam dunk at this point, a.k.a. Miyagi origin story.
It hurts, doesn't it?
It was good. It was great. Our top 20 are things that I loved. Our top 25 are things that I loved. This isn't like a knock on it, but something's got to go. And like we said, we've already read, this arc. The new stuff was good, all the Miyagi stuff, but like not necessarily what I wanted. That's not to say it was bad, but it felt like Sakuragi was not even close to like even like a 4th or 5th main character. And he's probably my favorite part of Slam Dunk. Rukawa, you wouldn't
Yeah.
even know was like their star player. So there were some aspects of it that were frustrating, but overall it was fantastic. And it was a fun experience us seeing it into theater with, a lot of different people surrounding us. It was fun.
Or maybe the same people, frankly. Honestly, I think I could have gotten rid of Slam Dunk like 5 spots ago. I know how much you enjoyed this experience, and so did I. I don't want to take that away. But I don't think, we said it earlier, if you're redoing something that's already existed, you have to do it better. I don't know if it did do it better, frankly.
Oh, it definitely doesn't do it better than the manga, but it was still a fun experience overall.
It was. And it's sad to see Takehiko Inoue not make number 2 on Anime of the Year for the first time ever.
What was last year?
Real.
Oh, and what was 2 years ago?
Slam Dunk.
Because that's right, because I watched it for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a shame.
What a journey.
But you know what? He can't have Slam Dunk 2 times. That just wouldn't be fair. Come on.
No, and he frankly didn't do enough to earn that silver medal.
No, not here.
All right, Takehiko Inoue, the first Slam Dunk out at number 13. I think I have a clear one right now.
I do as well. What are you saying?
Is it Overtake?
It's Overtake. Yep.
Okay, cool. I really like Overtake. I watched like 6 episodes in one sitting, and I don't give a shit about F1 or race cars at all, but this made me give a shit about F1.
Yeah, I felt the exact same way. I don't know even why I decided to watch it, but, it came up and I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And like you said, I don't care about racing, but the way it does like the racing sounds and like all of that, like you feel really immersed in that race car. And that's not even the important part of the series. The important part of the series is like the emotional development between the main driver, who's a 17-year-old kid who lost his dad in a race, and the other character who's a 30-year-old photographer that had some trauma because of a photo he had taken during, I think it was a tsunami or something. And just seeing their relationship develop is absolutely the heart and core of the show, and it's done it well. I think there's a couple episodes left that haven't released yet, but I can't imagine it won't finish strong.
This is one of the series that I'm so excited for the finale. And like, if let's say the finales of all of our fall 2023s came out, I think that would actually push it like a couple spots further. Like, I think Shangri-La Frontier is going to be Shangri-La Frontier. I think, I think seeing him on the podium for the first time and that photo being taken is going to be such a special moment.
I 100% agree.
I had one more thing I wanted to say about this series. The second driver, Bel Sorio, every time he shows up and says something stupid out of his mouth, I always just think of you saying, "What's this guy's deal?"
The one that's always like pissed off about everything.
Yeah, he's just angry for no reason and just pissed at the world. Like, well, what is this guy's deal?
What's this guy's deal?
So yeah, Overtake at 12, a really great series that I wasn't expecting to like this year.
It was absolutely wonderful. This, Justin, I don't know if this is a hot take, what I'm about to say, and this might be shocking coming from me.
Are you going to say it?
I have loved so much that we've watched this year, and as much as I love, more than anything, Konjiki no Gash Bell, there is so much new stuff that came out this year that deserves to be in the top 10, that I think putting Gash Bell at 11 might have to be a move.
I don't think it's going to do it. And the reason why I say that, I don't disagree with you. It's been so joyful. Like this last quarter of anime, I have enjoyed more than all first 3 quarters combined. Would you agree with me?
Absolutely, 100%.
And I'm sort of like, is this recency bias? But I don't know if I've ever felt this way before in watching seasonal anime, which makes me think that, wow, anime is that good right now. With that being said, at number 11, the reason why I don't think Gash Bell goes out is because of just about every manga that I read that comes out on a schedule, there's nothing that I go on the website refreshing to see when it comes out more than Gash Bell 2.
That's true. I need Gash Bell in my life. Absolutely.
And when it comes out,
I'm always excited for Gash Bell.
I'm so happy. Even if it's not a banger of a chapter, it's still more Gash Bell in 2023. And I think that is enough for it to go to number 10.
And I will agree with you, because when Gash Bell comes out, it's like whichever you and I like notices the chapters out first is always texting the other to say like, new Gash Bell just dropped. Like, do you read it yet? Like, it's must see manga every month, and you can't take that away from us. It's just that I've loved so many new things this year.
Do you know the meme that's like, "Hey babe, wake up! New Gash Bell dropped."
New Gash Bell just dropped.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to put at 11?
I think appropriately, Porco Rosso goes out at number 11.
That's fair. We both loved Porco Rosso. I've seen it before. Justin has seen it when he was a kid, but we saw it in theaters together this year, and I think we both had a newfound appreciation for Porco Rosso. And for me personally, I think it's maybe my top 2 Ghibli movies, my second favorite after Kiki, after we had seen it together. I don't know about you, but like I loved Porco Rosso, but like you said, it's something we have kind of both engaged with before this year.
I think that tax is what's really happening right now. I think if it was fresh for both of us, it could go even further because it's that special of a movie. And it's really funny because it's definitely my favorite Ghibli movie now, like above Spirited Away. And what's funny is every time we talk, it kind of climbs the rankings. Like I think the last time you said, "Oh, it's definitely my top 3." Now it's top 2. It'll never beat Kiki for you.
Yeah,
but it's nice that
no. But I mean, it's a flying Italian pig voiced by Michael Keaton. What else could you ask for?
There we go.
Molto bene.
Molto bene.
Molto bene.
Bellissimo. Arrivederci, Porco. It was a pleasure watching you this year on the big screen.
So we want to do Porco Rosso at 11, Gash Bell at 10.
Oh God.
You know, I think it's tough, but I think I'd rather do Sakamoto Days than Gash Bell at 10 because Sakamoto Days has the same tax as being an ongoing series. And I know it's...
No, stop.
I'm really stuck on the fact that it's an ongoing series.
Are you joking? I can't tell if you're fucking with me right now.
Well, I can't talk about... You have, of the series left, you have Hell's Paradise, Jujutsu Kaisen, Blue Period, and Blue Giant. Those are all things I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what you're feeling on those. So I can only go off of what I have left.
I think Sakamoto Days is one of the greatest Shonen Jump manga to ever exist right now.
I don't disagree, but nothing here left is Shonen Jump other than Jujutsu Kaisen.
Here, I will show part of my hand. I think Sakamoto Days is top 3.
Okay.
I have a lot left on this list. I understand. So let me drop some stuff. I will get rid of Blue Giant at number 10.
Okay. Now, this is the jazz movie you saw while you were in Tokyo.
Yes, this is the jazz movie I saw in Tokyo, and it was a really special experience. I only understood like 60-70% of the movie based on context, not in Japanese, but I think I got the gist of it. But watching this movie about music in Japan and just having like these speakers blaring at this 20-seat theater was just awesome. And it's a very straightforward story as far as I could tell. A couple of things I want to take against it. It uses 3D animation, but does so very poorly. In the way that Slam Dunk did it masterfully in terms of the way they needed it for the basketball game to work. This one, like, it jumps from this very nicely rendered 2D animation to like, I don't know, just like it looks really janky and like
it just didn't work.
Yeah, it just didn't work, and there wasn't proper shading. It was just like little scratch lines. That's like nitpicking, but it did take away from the film. I don't know. It's a special core memory for me, but I think 10 is the right spot for it.
Do you have anything else you want to get rid of? I could get rid of Skip and Loafer soon.
I think there are 3 besides Skip and Loafer. Oh man, this is so freaking hard, man. Can we talk? Let's just talk.
Yeah, I need to hear what you're thinking because I can't get rid of Frieren. I can't get rid of Apothecary yet. But Skip and Loafer, and you know how I feel about Sakamoto and Gash. I'm ready to get rid of Sakamoto and Gash whenever you are.
And Oshi, right?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm not sure yet.
Okay. I think Hell's Paradise is what made me love anime again in the middle of this year. I think the overall premise of these, I think it's 13 criminals going to this island to find the elixir for eternal life, along with their 13 assassins who, if these guys break the rules, they just have to behead them on the island. It's just sort of badass as hell, like the premise as a whole. And along the way, they meet essentially like God on the island and several demons. Like, it's just balls to the wall. I think it starts out stronger than it ends in the season. Not to say that it isn't still good. I don't think it makes it to our top 5.
Okay, so...
Does it go out here? I'm not sure.
I would say in recent years, I would say romance has probably become one of, if not my favorite genres, romance, rom-com. And Skip and Loafer was 100% my favorite romance of this year. It had just a ton of heart. You have a country bumpkin girl that moves to Tokyo and is just, she's a brilliant mind, but she's like so socially inept and awkward. But this like former child actor like befriends her, and he's used to just trying to get courted by all the girls, and he hates that, but she doesn't do that, so they become fast friends. And it has a lot of heart of just like her developing and learning to live in the big city, and him learning to like actually trust people and be friends with people. It's a really sweet story and kind of a unique art style. It really worked for me as a romance.
So you'd like it to go a good few spots further, is what I'm hearing.
If we're talking about a series that stayed with me more and I personally enjoyed more, I think I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Oshinoko overall.
Whoa.
But I know we both watched Oshinoko and we both loved Oshinoko. And like I said, I'm ready to get rid of Sakamoto, and I'm ready to get rid of Gash.
I'm not ready to get rid of Sakamoto.
I would say Skip and Loafer would probably be my third favorite anime this year.
Let me get rid of Hell's Paradise, Jigokuraku here at number 9. And it hurts for me to do so.
We have a lot of quality, Justin.
There's a ninja whose secretes come out of her body.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. That doesn't really sell me on it.
Oh, man.
As much as you think it might.
Number 9.
And then number 8 is Skip and Loafer.
Yeah, you ready for that?
If you're not getting rid of Sakamoto and Gash, yeah. Or, yours is Jujutsu Kaisen Blue Period as well.
Is Skip and Loafer better than Gash Bell 2?
It's tough. I think Gash Bell 2 is just on another plane of existence for us. I don't even think it qualifies as a manga anime. I think it's just an experience. You know what I mean? Like, Gash Bell is such an inherent part of who we are and an inherent part of our friendship. And it just almost feels like it's unfair to even talk about it. Like last year, it was like far and away, no shot there was anything else our manga of the year last year.
Right.
It went without saying. This year, we're actually having a conversation because I think we could have this every single year be number 1 just because of how it makes us feel. But I just think before we get to that point next year or the following year, we just need to rip the Bayonet off and say like, yeah, we know we love Gash Bell. We know Gash Bell is probably the favorite thing that we read every month. It's probably our favorite experience every year. But, there's other new stuff coming out and new experiences. And I love Gash Bell. And I'm enjoying the new experiences of Gash Bell. But it's not new this year. And we only got like 8 chapters.
I agree with you. Like Gash Bell, it peaks at 5 for me, maybe. I'm not even sure if I'm telling the truth right now. But it's not in my top 3. I guess I'm trying to see, like, is it better than the individual experiences that we had? Or are those individual experiences that much better than Gash Bell? And I guess for me, I would say that Jujutsu Kaisen is better than Gash Bell this year. And I'm trying to see, is Skip and Loafer the same for you? Because the fact that we share it is very special.
Yeah, I agree. But Skip and Loafer was another one of those anime that I watched like in the middle of the night. And it was just like, it was very wholesome because Skip and Loafer was a wholesome anime. And as I'm, feeding my daughter at 2:30 a.m., I'm watching this really just wholesome, cute anime. And, those are just very nice memories I had. And this was in the spring, but I was still doing those overnights in the spring.
I mean, then let me ask you this. How high is Apothecary going for you? Because I think I could probably get rid of Apothecary around now.
I think Apothecary is probably in my top 3.
Interesting. Is it okay? Why don't we talk about some of the stuff that we've shared then? I think the way this is going to work, it's not going to be like 10 minutes of each one. I think we're going to talk about all these things, and then batches are just going to drop like flies.
Yeah. What's
higher for you, Apothecary or Oshi? Because we both enjoyed these together, and they're both anime.
It's Apothecary.
So it's more apples to
I enjoy
apples.
I enjoy Apothecary Diary more than Oshinoko.
I think I do too, but I think Oshinoko is a more masterful piece of art.
I agree. But we're talking about, as always, what we enjoyed, what we liked. And I liked Apothecary Diaries more than I liked Oshinoko. I think Oshinoko is better, and it's like more iconic, and I think it's going to like be one of those anime that people talk about for years. But I enjoy watching Apothecary Diaries, and I look forward to it every week.
How much of this is recency bias also, though, Rob? Because I'm
the opposite, though. I don't do the recency bias thing. I hold things that are recent to a higher standard, actually. So like I'm usually tougher on things that are new because everybody else is hyping it up, and I'm a contrarian, and I'm like, well, let's take it back a second, people. Like, hang on.
I think I'm probably higher on Oshi than Apothecary. I think Apothecary is like a cozier time, but I think that Oshi no Ko took me to places I didn't think it could.
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Like I was expecting one thing, then it swerved in the total direction. I was like, okay, now I sort of get it. And I totally didn't. And it keeps just driving like a madman and never letting me catch my breath as to what's going to happen next. There's not a slow moment in Oshi. Not to say that there is an Apothecary either. Oh, this is so fucking hard, Rob.
This is really tough. I'm willing to give you Apothecary.
Give me your bottom three.
The bottom three?
No, I'm not trying to cut Apothecary now. I'm just saying, like, what's the three that you'd want to get rid of now, including mine?
I mean, I've watched Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't love Jujutsu Kaisen. I've watched and read a little of Blue Period, and I loved Blue Period. And you know how I feel about Gash and Sakamoto.
I'm curious why you're willing to get rid of Sakamoto this soon. I thought Sakamoto would be fighting for Anime of the Year.
I love Sakamoto Days. I think it's harder. I don't know. I have this like mental block where something that's ongoing, I can't like see it as a cohesive whole complete package. Like it just feels weird to me to say like 2023 of Sakamoto Days is, one of my favorite things of the year. It is. It's been fantastic, but it's just like a piece of a puzzle, and it's not the whole story. Whereas I had a whole, anime season of Oshi no Ko or Skip and Loafer of Apothecary Diaries. Even if those stories aren't complete, I still had like a cohesive story of them. Whereas obviously Sakamoto Days had a fantastic flashback arc, one of the best flashback arcs ever in general. But we're in the middle of an arc right now, and we don't know how we're going to feel about it. And this arc's been going on for a while.
Okay. I think, can I sell you on this really quick?
Absolutely.
I think that last year we came to a lull with Sakamoto Days. It's like, oh yeah, it's just more Sakamoto Days. I don't really remember what happened. And we're introducing all these new characters, and we're like, yeah, it's fun. But like we have the chainsaw girl and we have the guy with the nails. But everything came colliding together this year. Like we had Shishiba fighting his old master, and we actually gave a shit about these two like B and C side plot characters, along with the flashback arc, which is maybe the greatest flashback of all time.
I agree. They brought it all together very well this year.
The heel fight, who this just a gigantic pierced monster that we met like a year or two ago, and all of a sudden he shows up and we loved him. Like how can you make us love somebody in like maybe 4 chapters of screen time and make his fight seem significant to the story?
I agree. I love Sakamoto Days, but there's something we have to cut at this point. And I
obviously
I'm okay getting rid of Skip and Loafer. I need a concession. Like something at 7 and 6 has to be, because I'm not ready to do Apothecary yet, and I'm not obviously ready to do Frieren yet.
Okay, let's go Jujutsu at 8.
Okay, so Jujutsu at 8.
That's my cut. Jujutsu at 8.
I'll do Skip and Loafer at 7.
Can I give a small obituary to Jujutsu?
Go for it, absolutely. I mean, it's Jujutsu Kaisen.
I didn't like Jujutsu Kaisen before this year. I thought it was one of the most overblown, overhyped things. I made a video about it, and that video has like an 80% dislike ratio and
wrecked.
Very mean, hateful comments on it.
Deservedly so.
I stand by what I said about season 1. I think it was a little bit boring, even though it was one of the most beautifully animated things ever. I think that the beginning of Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 was a flashback arc that provided so much context as to who these characters were, and then they flashed us forward and just went balls to the walls with a full-out war between our sorcerers and the curses, that every episode, if not every other episode, is just like the most beautiful animated fight scene I've ever seen in my life. Sometimes I think it's a little bit over the top. Like, I don't really know if there's any stakes to this fight, because it's just the magnitude of the battle is so big that it almost loses its meaning.
Right.
But it's just the testament to how good the rest of these series are that it's going out 8, because this could easily be top 5.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a big year.
I think Skip has to go out soon, though, Rob.
I said that. I'm fine doing Skip and Loafer at 7.
Oh, Skip's at 7?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I think, is Apothecary really... I'm not saying it has to go. I just want to confirm Apothecary is really special for you.
There's something about it that I really love, and it's probably my second favorite thing this year.
So you think you enjoyed the experience of Apothecary more than Sakamoto Days this year?
It gets, like I said, Sakamoto has that tax of being an ongoing series, and Apothecary gets the bonus of being an anime. So you're getting that just like weekly like experience of watching something like come alive. And I love Mao Mao's voice actor, and I love
Sure.
the way that, you know, they animate like some like funny chibi scenes where and then there's some scenes where she's like eating and it's like really fucking sexual for some reason. It's like I don't know what's going on, but like it works.
And she looks like a 14-year-old.
She's not. She's 17.
Maybe.
Regardless, I just really enjoy Apothecary Diaries. I love the mystery aspects of it. I love how she's basically Batman just as an apothecary, and like has like this 200 IQ for absolutely no reason, even though she was like raised in a brothel. I don't know. There's just something about it that like ticks the right boxes for me as a series.
And I also really love Apothecary Diaries. I think that Mao Mao has she's got this kind of like boyish charm to her that makes her such like, she's very cunning. She's like a cat that's like,
she's a spunky. Yeah,
spunky. That's the right word. I know what you're up to. And it's nice to see a strong female character who's just running circles around all these snooty elites.
Everything.
Yeah. We're in the top 6 right now, and it's a bloodbath. I'm going to let Blue Period go here at number 6.
Okay.
Blue Period this year, I think, cemented itself in my ongoing updated rankings of greatest things of all time as maybe my 4th favorite anime or manga of all time. Again, this takes into consideration that this is only everything post-anime. And for me, it just strikes that particular chord. It's about this kid who's in art university now, and he just really like hates himself. He can't get over this art block. Like he's like, nothing I do is ever good enough. And it's about him kind of like finding the freedom to try and fall in love with art again. It's something that I've personally been going through for the last like 5 years of my life. And it kind of makes you feel like, oh, you're not alone. Maybe it's sort of like the experience you had with Solanin, maybe. Except kind of past that phase of your life, but I'm still very deeply in it. And this is very specific to my particular area as well. So this one's just really special for me. Blue Period out at number 6.
Oh boy.
Where are we at, buddy?
I don't even know where we're at.
I think I know what goes next. I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't know.
Is it Gash Bell? It's top 5. That's a beautiful spot.
Is it Gash Bell or Oshi?
I think it's Gash. I feel like I appreciate Oshinoko, and I really enjoyed Oshinoko. I loved Oshinoko, but I feel like we're stuck on the fact that Oshinoko is this huge, like, phenomenal, like, thing in culture. And I loved it, and we both enjoyed it immensely. And I think it, like what you're saying with Hell's Paradise, it gave me that kind of reinvigoration of, you know, anime and what anime can do. But like, it's superior and excellent and wonderful, but I don't love it in the same way.
I think Oshi, for the same reason we said earlier this year, why it's an A+ and not an S, is because it's a masterpiece, but it doesn't hit our hearts in the same places. And I think Gash gets that tax, like you said earlier. I think we do Gash at 5 and Oshi at 4.
Yeah, that works for me. And then at that point, it's up to you between Apothecary and Sakamoto, but I think we're kind of in agreement on what number 1 is, right?
I didn't think you were going to be this high on it.
On Frieren?
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes. I 1000% agree. I thought that we'd be fighting more about Sakamoto and Oshi for the number 1 spot. So I'm surprised that Frieren is slipping into number 1.
It's not even slipping. Smoothly. There was never a doubt in my mind from, I think, 10 minutes into the first episode of Frieren that it was going to be number 1. Like,
wow.
It was never a doubt. I think through most of what us talking about and watching Oshinoko, like, I was like, oh, okay, this is a conversation is over. It's going to be Oshinoko and that's it. But, you know, it's Frieren. That's it.
Then I think for me, it's Apothecary out at 3. Sakamoto Days is the greatest manga experience I've had in a long time. And ultimately, Frieren Beyond Journey's End is the strongest under the heavens of 2023.
Yeah, like I said, this was such an easy choice for me. I think that first episode, even though like Oshinoko's first episode is iconic, that 40-minute banger of like Ai's life and death and everyone else's life and death and rebirth was like insane. But that first episode of Frieren is just such an emotional journey, and it kind of really makes you think and appreciate people in your life. Like Frieren doesn't realize until Himmel's dead how much he meant to her and how much she wishes she spent more time with her. And it's like one of those things where like you never like realizing how much you mean to somebody else and like how much a relationship could mean to you or to them. And it really puts into perspective like how important it is to just appreciate the people in your life. And on top of that, it can be hilarious. It can be cute. It can have awesome action. It can be like endearing and silly and heartfelt and intense. And it just does all of those things well.
I don't know how it does it, because it goes from like her literally just being a lazy bum, being like, I just want to read books today, to her chopping off the head of a like vampire monster thing.
Right. You never know what you're getting from episode to episode.
To them getting stuck in a cabin, just being cozy and then shopping for birthday gifts. It's everything. And it's very well deserving of our number one anime of the year of 2023. And Rob, you know what we have to do now, right?
Yes. We have to pit it against last year's winner, correct? Which was Gash Bell.
Yes, for the Heavenly King of S-Class. And it is the first 8 chapters of Gash Bell 2. It does not get the benefit of this year's progression versus Frieren Beyond Journey's End.
Come on, it's Gash Bell. Let's not be stupid.
Is it? Is it, Rob?
Dude, I really love Frieren. Like Frieren's like a special series.
I think the more you talk about it, like Gash Bell is amazing because we love it so much. But for me, it's like last year's experience was like, this is a piece of media that I really love. And Frieren is something that impacts our life. Like it makes you change the way you think about life. And I don't know if that's enough to push it over this thing that's so iconic for us, but that's how special Frieren is.
Let me ask you this. Does Frieren make you appreciate me?
I don't know if anything could make me do that.
Then it's not that special.
Oh man, maybe it might just be able to break my cold heart and make me love you a little bit more, Rob.
If it can do that, then I think it deserves it. This is for you to decide. This is what I'm giving you. This is the prompt. If Frieren makes you appreciate me, then Frieren deserves to win. If not, Gash Bell maintains its title.
Then I will announce that this year's Heavenly King of S-Class is Frieren Beyond Journey's End.
I was really, really preparing for how hilarious it was going to be when you said Gash Bell. But you know what? I appreciate us ending 2023 on a high note and going into the new year all lovey-dovey.
Yeah, it's going to end. It's going to end as soon as January 1st strikes. But that's okay, because it's been another great year with you, Rob. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, it's been so much fun having this channel with you and this podcast. And again, thank you everyone for listening for this 2 hours of madness where we have no idea what we're doing. And we hope you enjoyed it as well, and let us know what your favorite anime and manga of the year was. Rob, you have any closing words for our friends here?
We'll see you in 2024 with hopefully 100 different series to beat our 70 of this year.
Abayo.
Sayonara.